We're muted.
We are muted, but we are no longer muted. All right.
Hi, everybody. It's been a long time for me, but hello.
All right.
Fuzzy.
We're getting sorry.
I got up and I should know. Okay.
I'm gonna change our name, Tashi.
And Joanna. There you go.
There we go. All right. Hi everyone. So nice to see you. We are
Okay. Well,
which
whatever.
way?
That's okay.
Come my way.
You move in and all. We're still getting situated. My
There we go.
office isn't as small as it looks on film, but it's
All right.
cozy.
We are very happy. So Tashi and I used to get to teach with Tashi, and now we're teaching together.
Yeah.
In person.
Joanna's now a full-fledged colleague.
So we are here to talk about the new moon and which happened early this morning.
Yep.
And also to talk about this big configuration in the sky that's happening it's already begun, the month of July. And the term that you might be seeing in the social sphere is the Barbeau basket. And I just wanted to mention that first because Andre Barbeau is an astrologer, his past French philosopher, astrologer, cosmologist, and psychic. And he was studying this basket for many, many years. And so it's sort of shorthand, but just to understand that this is a energetic aspect that is happening for the collective, and we're going to be talking about it.
It's historic. It hasn't happened like in the last several 400 years. It hasn't happened. And as you go further back in the ephemeris, we can't find it either. So especially with Jupiter, but even Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune have never done this that we know of in recent history, in modern history. Okay. So it's a huge opportunity for humanity to make the right choices. And we're going to explain to you what that is. And of course, we're going to give you gemstones because that's what I do.
Okay. Can you try and come a little closer even because of the,
yeah.
I don't know why we were working on our, there we go. Okay. We are no longer blurry.
Okay,
good. All right, great. So we're going to reshare and talk about this. Let's see if this works.
Very brave.
I don't know.
Mid.
All right. What are we getting here?
Mercury's retrograde. Give us a minute. There we go.
All right. Let's see if this is working.
And that's where we want to be, is up there.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right. Can everyone see? I think yes. All right. Yes. We assume so. All right. All right. So this is the basket. And it's already begun. When did they say? AI Claude, our friend Claude, said that this aspect was activated on June 26th when Jupiter moved into Leo. It is really potent and powerful, and this idea of a cradle of this new civilization. This aspect, you can see the visual. There's an opposition between Pluto and Jupiter. And then there are sextiles and trines with Neptune and Uranus.
And so the blue aspects, using Bruno Huber, Huber, who has a whole wonderful book on all of these different configurations, gives you opportunity. So Uranus trining Pluto gives you the opportunity to get your soul now coming through the filter of Aquarius, aligned with the awakening that's possible for you through astrology, Uranus, Gemini, learning, teaching, speaking, reading, and also AI. AI is very much a Uranus phenomena. And the sextile between Uranus and Neptune is very good. Okay, that is unusual. And that is, especially in this configuration of these three outer planets being together, it's the opportunity to take Joanna describes it so beautifully, your unity consciousness. I love the way you're talking about Neptune.
Oh,
the Neptune Uranus.
Yeah, I mean, Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, and Neptune is the highest frequency of love, which is connection with spirit and spirituality and consciousness that surrounds us. And so this aspect with these deep, powerful outer planets that move our conscious frequencies through different planes of existence. Tashi's talking about this through the plasma. I know Stephen Burns is.
Everybody on the internet is now talking about, they've discovered that 99% of reality is plasma. All right. And so most of my life, to make this a little bit personal, I have seen what I would call filaments of light. And I think my teacher, Colin Rinpoche, said filaments of light connect us all. And it's plasma, sorry. So we are at choice now to wake up and really understand that light workers operate in a plasma field, and to use that light, as we always do anyway, sharing the light, but to use it really consciously with Jupiter, with Uranus, with Neptune, with Pluto, so that the tension between the Pluto-Jupiter motivates us to make big shifts. All right. And the way you do that is you care about collective humanity and you care about waking up.
Mm-hmm.
So you care about your unity consciousness, the we instead of the I. You have to put everybody into your field of love while maintaining your sovereignty, Aries. So this is the problem with the New Age, okay? And I learned this the hard way by joining every cult I could ever find anywhere, or New Age group or anything. You go into a unity consciousness and you lose yourself, and you can't. So Uranus sextiling Neptune is teaching us to maintain our sovereignty while we're part of the unity consciousness. You are a unique being that isn't duplicated anywhere ever. Okay. So you hold on to that uniqueness with this sextile more easily right now into the unity consciousness. And you find, what's my job? What's my identity? What's my part in all of this? And in the Aries part, where am I the pioneer? In the Gemini part, well, what do I have to teach others? Or what do I have to learn? Now, Jupiter in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius is much harder, okay? An opposition is not easy until it is. And once it's easy, you understand what you're dealing with. So we're going to try to help you with what you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. Jupiter, of course, is expanding your awareness of natural law. In Leo, it's your creativity that is getting inspired, all right, to really burst out creatively. In Aquarius, caring, sharing, and unity, caring, sharing, and what is it? Inclusion. Yeah, I knew there was an I there. Word. Yeah, so that's kind of like the big picture.
Yeah, and I think that, again, we're at this choice point right now that I think we all can see if you just talk to people, turn on the news, see what's happening in the world, because it's all working out as planned and it's all right on time. And so the experience right now where we as individuals, Jupiter in Leo, showing our truest color, our most beautiful heart, our courage as individuals, is making a difference to the collective, to humanity, to allow this deep change that Pluto and Aquarius is bringing in. And I also wanted to mention that while this, basket, this cradle is activated right now at this 4 degree, the 3 planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, have been in this sort of small triangle aspect already for 2 years. It started in 2024. It's going to go through 2029. So 5 years of this Pluto, Uranus, Neptune energy of changing consciousness, upgrading, ascending, moving through new frequencies and activating the higher mind and the knowing of what's in the cosmos. So one thing Tashi and I have been talking about is that, disclosure, ETs, UFOs, Obviously the Spielberg movie just came out. I haven't seen it yet. Tashi's seen it. And just this idea of like that there's more out there in the world. And I do think that this Pluto, Uranus, Neptune energy is getting us more used to that idea, so that we integrate it and work with it and allow it, and it's not some scary thing like, oh hey, aliens are on the planet and now we have a common enemy to fight against.
Yeah, don't fall for
that.
If it ever shows up, it may never show up.
Yeah.
There are some people saying that. I don't care about conspiracies. But you know what? The world's such a mystery school that conspiracies are just a wormhole into the mystery for some people. And that's my point of view.
Okay.
I don't care if they're right or wrong. As long as people are thinking about the mystery, I'm happy.
So here's another element that's getting upgraded when this month, or certainly July, all of July and into August, watch the moon, because the moon, as it hits 4 degrees, will activate this cradle in different ways. And this chart is just a few of the planets on July 19th, when is coming up in 5 days.
5 days.
So when the moon comes to 4 degrees Libra, it's going to sort of, I almost think it takes the cradle and moves it into this like 3D space.
It gives it a handle.
5D, 4D, 5D, 10D.
10D, whatever. But the handle, the moon. So there's a guy named Robert Temple. You've got to check him out. He's a scientist of some sort who has become a new ager in a way, a philosopher. And he's saying that around the moon, there is a cloud form that it's got a name. I can't remember everything that I've been learning so much lately. And that the Akashic records may be in those clouds, which I have to dive into. But all of you would love to dive into that. You can type it in the message if you want.
What's
Robert Temple. Okay. Robert Temple. He's on YouTube. So I think the collective on the 19th of June will have some sort of Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, Juno download. Okay. And I don't know what it is, because I haven't been allowed to see the future for a while now. And I asked my angels why, and they said, well, because we are all really making it up together. This has been going on for like at least a year, where usually I can get a sense of what's coming. And I've just been like, I am going to observe and correlate, because that's all I'm able to do right now. But on the 19th, I think we will have some clue, bigger clue. Okay. There's so many things unfolding. All right. So what is
Robert Temple?
Robert Temple. Yeah. Robert Temple.
Shabbat just put a link up that'll, we can all look at.
Thanks to Rama.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be back with all of you. I really missed you all. I got married and moved out of LA, and I'm living on a ranch in the middle of nowhere now, and I'm happy, married. And anyway, Joanna came here.
It's beautiful.
Like, let's teach. So I said, okay.
So the moon gets to 4 and July 19th, and then the exact Pluto Jupiter opposition is on July 20th. So really the crux, you could say, of this cradle is around the 19th, 20th, and 21st. But again, there's movement, and we'll have some dates here for Daryl. Sending congrats.
Oh, thank
congrats
you.
On your wedding.
Thank you. I am reading them. I just happened to look away from
it.
And hi to all of you who've been saying hi. Yeah, I missed you too.
And so we've got this, as Tashi mentioned, the moon represents the public, right? So watch the public responding to what's happening in the world, because it's quite active. And then another note that we mentioned a little bit is these blue aspects you see here in the chart. That's when things are very easy. So it's very nice when things are flowing and they're moving well and they're organized and synced up. But also this is where we can be avoidant and lazy and just accessing our creature comfort. So for me, there's a part of me that's like, absolutely, let's just like laze into this and take a hike and go down to the beach. And then there's another part where it's like, no, we should really tune into this energy and work with it and use it to build something. But I do think that there's pleasure to be had in that experience.
the download experience for most of you on this call, which is why I love teaching all of you, is what's really available to us all. Okay. There's a download available. The moon, especially when it's at 4, is going to pull you into this collective energy and expand your awareness. Jupiter expands our awareness of natural law when we pay attention. And I've been getting downloads, so many that I'm like, okay, it kind of stopped while Mercury went retrograde so that I could write them down and, you know, put them in the books I'm working on. But they're definitely not stopping. And so I want you during your meditations, I mean, I'm not a meditation teacher, but tune in, especially on the 19th, to the Uranus trine. And remember that Libra is very much about not projecting your shadow, figuring out who you are, Aries, Libra, this Neptune thing, and then bringing your sovereignty, bringing your highest, best self to everybody, especially that day. Do kind deeds that day. That will help your karma a lot.
Always a good thing to do.
Always good, yeah.
All right, so here is the new moon chart for what happened early this morning. We know that the new moon in Cancer is an opening. It also, in Cancer, we're still, by the way, only 3 weeks off from solstice. So still in that cardinal, forward moving, initiating energy of, here in North America, obviously the summer. We've moved into a new season, a new expression. And the archetype of Cancer shows us so many things, but it's particularly true north, right? Where are we going? Where is our center of orientation? If you have a chance to go outside and see the stars in the evening, find Polaris, find true north, orient towards that. If you have an opportunity to be near water today, particularly, you know, do something Cancerian, take a bath, take a long shower.
Wear pearls and gold, sun, gold, moon, pearls. Now, I didn't put anything on for Mercury. Oh, I did. Mercury.
Right. So we have, I guess I can add here just to annotate so everyone can see that the new moon is happening down here. So Mercury retrograde is right next to this new moon. So that Mercury retrograde is incredibly important to know that, like, we are still in review territory, even though we're in this new phase of a new cycle coming forward around emotional self-reliance. And we've listed some of the themes of the new moon in Cancer. Watch, domination, submission, check your loyalties. You know, is somebody pulling you towards something that might not be the right thing for you, but you're moving forward because
of codependency
or obligation.
And that's part of Jupiter Pluto as well. You know, Jupiter Pluto in its negative, through Ebertine, is autocracy and it's power trips. So you really have to go on your own power trip as a sovereign individual who's pioneering something to avoid that. Don't get into someone else's power trip, and don't get into don't be an underpaid extra in someone else's movie. Okay, that's a full moon problem. That's a Libra problem. And it's also just a problem for everybody all the time, you know. And I learned that somehow in the movie business. Don't get to be an underpaid extra in someone else's movie, I don't know, in the 70s. So I've been saying it a long time, but it works. It really. However, this chart it's so complex. Uranus is conjunct Mars. That is Earth changes. Now, I've been also watching another guy, Stephen Burns on YouTube. He's an astrologer now, but he's a geophysicist who's got a master's degree in, you know, well, all that stuff. And he's brilliant. But there are probably earthquakes in the next 2 weeks. There's been so many earthquakes, you don't need an astrologer to tell you that. But this is what it looks like. South Node Venus. Venus is always evident when there's earthquakes. And if you look at the chart afterwards. And Uranus, Mars, very unstable energy. All right. So if you want to harness that Uranus, Mars, at the end of this PDF, there is lots and lots of gems on how to work with all these energies. And you use a compass and you find the points, and then you're going to use things to fix this Uranus Mars. And I really suggest you do that. Even if there's an earthquake in your area, it might uplift you and save you.
And one of the things that we're seeing is fires.
Oh yeah.
Floods and heat waves, major heat waves that are happening in Europe, on the East Coast here in the US. I know there was a big fire, I think in France that just, wait, was it France or Spain? I'm not sure. Also, by the way, Uranus, Mars, we're in the World Cup, right? Anything goes. So there's been a lot of surprises. It's Stefan Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Stefan. Sorry, I'm going to type it in.
Okay.
Yeah, that the World Cup is helping this energy.
The World Cup is helping this energy because it's channeling it through, right? Mars is the warrior. Mars is an athlete. And so we the good news is the world is focused on something. There actually is a World Cup match starting in 40 minutes. I hope everybody gets to watch it.
We're gonna
watch it. And also tomorrow. So today and tomorrow, like if you have that opportunity, even if you're not big soccer or football fans, it's helpful, right? Because we want to use these energies, these part of our consciousness, and direct them forward in the most productive, positive ways. So whatever that might look like for you, it could be gem cure, it could be, playing sports or watching sports, or
definitely walk more, exercise more,
right.
More yoga. And then this, because of the sextile of Uranus and Neptune, that's the World Cup. So you can see this benefic energy. And that's what's going on. Yeah, there's a lot of earthquakes. There's a lot of flooding. I mean, it is serious time to figure out where to live.
Yeah.
Okay, check your lines on astrocartography. Get a reading with Joanna. She's my colleague now, and she is a genius, you guys. She took everything I taught her and added to it. And you can laugh all you like, but Guru Jagat did this for me. And that's how I got to teach and help so many of you. And I don't have as much time right now because I'm finishing books. Of course, I will do some counseling, only to you guys, though, not to new people. And Joanna is brilliant. So please, please, if you're living in a place, because by the way, if you're living in a place where there's trouble or you're having hard times, it could get harder if you don't change. And do you remember that in 2016, I started a series before COVID that said, change or die, how to get in touch with Joanna. It's on the end.
Yeah, well,
it's the end slide.
I'll put my email
in.
in.
It's in the end slide, but you can put it in there. Okay, so it's a change or die. Jupiter Pluto is often found in death charts. So I do predict there will be probably a ton of people like in Venezuela. Sometimes things happen before these new moons.
Well, there was that huge earthquake just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Thousands
so many
of people
died. And that's shown in this
thousands.
Jupiter Pluto. Let's hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Sometimes the event is before the actual, it's called Anticia.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should teach that.
All right. So this is the new moon chart for the US. I think we've got a lot of folks here in the US. So we wanted to just show this and point it out. The previous chart was sort of like a worldwide chart, but here we have that new moon right on the ascendant for the US chart. And I wanted to mention Tashi particularly, we were talking about this out of bounds moon, which really has to do with the out of bounds means beyond the ecliptic and the path of the sun and the earth around the sun, and beyond that, when there's a planet that's out of bounds, it's a little more
free
and feral. And so this again is the public really like doing their own thing and saying, I'm not buying the thing that you're selling, and I need to protect myself, and I need to grow, and I need to take care of my family in Cancer, and we're going to do it in different and unique and novel ways. And so an out of bounds moon, the moon has been void, of course, for many, many hours lately, like on and off, meaning, again, the moon is really operating on its own timetable and its own scale. And so if you're feeling like things are a little wild out there, you're not alone, right? We're all experiencing this in a particular way.
Some people aren't sleeping. Some people are downloading so much stuff they can barely handle it. Some people are, I didn't sleep. There was a night so the solar flares keep people awake. Now I know that. And that night we had a huge solar flare. I got 1 minute of sleep. I mean, none. Like I didn't get sleep. And I didn't care. I had energy. The plasma that comes from the solar flares initiates us. So watching Stefan Burns, you will, wild dreams. That's true. But the solar flares are definitely initiating us and giving us new, vibrant cosmic information. I don't even know if it's information, cosmic experience, cosmic flooding. It's just like, I don't know how to describe it.
I do think it is information. That's energy, right? And the energy comes to us in waves and changes our frequency. So it absolutely makes a difference. And again, it's showing up, as Tashi mentioned, wild dreams, no sleep, too much sleep, lots of energy, no energy, lethargy.
It can wipe out your energy.
We've also both had the experience where it's like, we're not hungry. Nobody wants to eat anything. It's like one meal a day, maybe, snacking-ish, maybe some fruit, definitely a lot of water. So watch your body and see how it reacts. I did want to answer this question. What's the difference between out of bounds and void of course? So
totally different.
They're totally different. Out of bounds, again, means it's beyond the ecliptic, meaning again the path that the earth takes around the sun. So it's sort of like floating out in the ethers, you could say. The moon, void of course, means that the moon is not making any other aspect to a planet. And so,
but I have a note here. I had an Indian client who was getting married on a Sunday. The moon was void of course. I said to her, can you get married on Saturday? She said, no, my Vedic astrologer said it's fine. So I looked at the Vedic chart, and it's behind 23 degrees. You really should check before you decide not to do something. What's the moon doing in the Vedic? Okay. If you have an astrology program, it's easy, but you can go onto astro.com and just switch it, or to astroseek.com, which I really like, and just look. Okay. I'm not a big proponent of out of bounds moons because I think it has to be in both systems. All right. But I'm writing a book on out of bounds. I wrote the first one in 1993. There's a booklet. And it's not available, but this book is coming out and I'm excited about it. When the moon or Mercury or Jupiter's slightly out of bounds right now, it goes a few seconds out of bounds. So does Pluto. They both go out of bounds, which I didn't know until, we got all this AI to help us. And you really have a chance to change your patterns. Okay. The moon is our patterns. And you can change them when the moon's out of bounds. And then you can help others. And you can do brilliant things, okay, when the moon's out of bounds. So it's sort of like a galactic center piece of the chart. It's like that. You're out there and you're closer to the cosmos, and you're not as constrained by collective consensus. That's really the essence of it. And it goes out of bounds in Gemini, Cancer, and sometimes in Leo. But at the peaks, at the solstices, that's when it goes out of bounds. Yeah, not hungry. Yeah, I was zonked for probably maybe a month earlier on. I was just resting. Wasn't sleeping all the time, but I was resting. I needed so much rest. And I had turned meditation into contemplation for a while because I was too tired to meditate. So I was contemplating, and that was good. It was enough. And downloading, and the downloads would just wipe me out too. Okay.
I think that no big decisions. No, void of course, I think is when void of course is kind of like a Mercury retrograde. Just slow down.
Yeah.
And void of course, you can track it. Like I have the iLuna app, which I really like to track the moon. And it will tell you if and when the moon is void of course and when it's back. So it is actually void of course right now until 3:30 Pacific time, in case you're tracking that. But another thing that we pointed out in this chart, and we'll show on the next slide as well, is this Neptune. So Neptune shows us our illusions and delusions, and Tashi and I have been talking about this is Neptune in terms of tracking deception, if we're deceiving ourselves, if we're being deceived by others. Because right now, like, again, Neptune is now retrograde until December. It's actually stationed, it just stationed retrograde a couple of days ago. And is going to be, I mean, almost 6 months, really. Like
It's always 6 months every
yeah.
year, August to December.
But there's no planet that's opposing Neptune until Venus well, the moon obviously will get there, on
Once
the
a month.
19th, right? Because we were just looking at that. But but there's no other planet until Venus next month, which is very interesting.
Yeah, so Neptune is not an easy planet. I think it's harder than Pluto because your soul is powerful, but Neptune is the collective unconscious or the collective consciousness. Some people have defined it very specifically. I don't really do that because it's just the collective frequency. So this frequency is not yourself. And so you don't know it, and you really have to practice meditation for a long time to get yourself to a place where not always daily, but consistency with Neptune to get yourself able to feel into that frequency.
I also wanted to say that sometimes Neptune brings what Tashi calls the game of three.
Oh, yeah.
So be wary and pay attention to if you're involved in situations or specific relationships where, you're being played off of somebody else, or you're doing it to others. In the retrograde, there's always an opportunity to review, to go back, to clean things up. But as Tashi mentioned, like when we're meditating, we come back to ourself. We come back to the core of who we are. And the more that we can stand in that power, that sort of self-love and presence of the soul in our highest consciousness, the easier it is to maneuver and the less likely we're going to fall into the trap of deception or illusion or clouded thinking, for example.
You'll find yourself laughing when someone's trying to engage you in the game of three out loud because you just be like, wow. That's what I do. I'm like, wow. So Neptune Venus is in a quincunx in this chart. All right. It's in a yod with this Pluto.
We've that's here we are. And on the next slide. So we're going to look at this. Yeah.
And so avoid thruppling if possible. There's so many things on TV, and I've had clients talking to me about it this past year quite a lot. And I'm like, yeah, this never works out usually. Okay. And I am not against somebody who's got that going on and it's working. I'm not judging anybody, but with the Virgo Aries, and also in the US this isn't in the world. So it's Aries Virgo is the dynamic of the opening quincunx. And what Jeffrey taught me about this has been the most valuable thing I've ever learned about a quincunx. Humility or humiliation, you guys. That's Neptune Venus right now. So be careful with your money, be careful with your love life, be careful with your service to others. Make sure that you're not a victim or an underpaid extra in someone's movie, or you're projecting the victim, savior, Virgo, Christian stuff onto others. All right. So it's very important. These entanglements. Yes. The entanglements of threes. Yes. 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 So, and then Venus, Pluto's always about, is somebody on a power trip? Well, in Aquarius, my friend Daniel Giamario, another colleague, says Aquarius, their shadow, they don't think they have a shadow. So remember that about Pluto. Okay. These autocrats, they don't think they're doing anything wrong. Okay. And that's Pluto without a shadow consciousness. So this Pluto Juno Venus South Node is you looking at your relationships. Am I empowered in this situation, or am I an underpaid extra in someone's movie? So get out of that if you are, and find your autonomy, because Neptune in Aries will give you the sovereignty and the individuality, individuation, and Aquarius is about individuation as well, to do that easily.
Well said.
Yeah.
And one of the pieces we mentioned before, because it's part of the cradle and that, small triangle, Pluto, Neptune with Uranus, but Pluto, Neptune has been in a sextile pretty much for almost every single person alive at this point. I went back to see when did it start, and it was sort of in the late 30s and the early 1940s. So we all have this in our natal charts, and it's exact now. The Pluto-Neptune cycle began in 1892
with the conjunction.
With the conjunction in Gemini, and the sextile, which is that sort of 60-degree separation, is going to end sometime around 2035 to 2037, depending on how many degrees you give that orb. But so Neptune and Pluto are absolutely working together and will continue to work together for really the next 10 years.
And then after that, they're going to eventually move into a square. So
but that will not happen in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime.
We'll not be alive.
No. And those people will be building the unity consciousness, because that's what an opening square will do.
Maybe some of your children,
your
grandchildren.
Yeah.
Because the cycle is very slow.
Very slow.
Yeah.
Mercifully.
All right. So here's some key dates. Today, there's a Jupiter Moon prosperity gate. So if you have an opportunity to do a little abundance practice, prosperity practice, please do. There's a Venus gate evening star in a couple of days, July 17th, in Virgo. And this is when the moon and Venus come together. And I know Tashi's written a book all about this, and very important to track these Venus gates. Wear rose quartz, emerald, do a little self-love, self-care,
peridot,
plan a spa day.
And agate for Virgo, always agates for Virgo.
And then at the end of the month, there's some power days, July 26th to 29th. So the lunar nodes are changing signs, and Saturn retrograde will begin. There's a moon Pluto conjunction at 4 Aquarius. We've got that full moon July 29th, and then the sun Jupiter conjunction at 6 Leo. So big important astrology at the end of the month, which leads us back into August. The next Jupiter moon gate is on the 11th, and then we've got our eclipses. So today's new moon is the new moon before the eclipse, right? Obviously we have new moon, we've got full moon in 2 weeks, and then we've got 2 weeks later that solar total eclipse in Leo. It is visible in Spain for those of you that are on Mallorca right now. You will have the opportunity to see that eclipse. We've got another Venus gate on the 16th in Libra. And then August 28th is the second of the 2 eclipses at 4 degrees of Pisces. So a lot happening energetically that, again, the solstice kind of opened up this window. The new moon has opened up the window. The cradle is absolutely active during this whole period. So
yeah. And one thing, let's go back to the other chart for a second. I wanted to show you the new moon.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you this. The nodes of Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are around 14 to 20 Cancer, okay? All the planets have nodes just like the lunar nodes. And evolutionary astrologers work with the planetary nodes. So when there's a new moon on the planetary nodes, it is very collective. And even though Cancer is our true north, it's the collective's true north. So once again, as my teachers taught me and I taught Joanna, when something really strong is happening, it's not just said one way. So this is also such a powerful beginning because this is on the nodes. So yeah.
And this is important too. It is a beginning. We don't know how it's going to end up. It is up to us as individuals and a collective to move the energy in the direction we want it to go. How do we do that? Through all of the ways that we've been talking about: intentionality, focus, meditation, deep presence, sovereignty in the self, courage, being the best version of ourselves, understanding what our soul path actually is, and letting go of all of the stuff that is not ours, right? All of the codependencies and the fears and the anxieties and the things that aren't true to self. Because the more that we can show up as individuals with purpose and focus and sovereignty, the better it is to create a framework for the community and for the galactic universe, really, to move forward at a high level.
And the Neptune Saturn conjunction which we did talk about, I think, when we talked about the end of the Kali Yuga. Now Saturn's very much in the opening phase. Neptune's at 4, you can see, and Saturn's at 14. So they're at 10, and 10 is a number that's important, you know, because it's 36 times 10. You always are dividing that 360. And then when you get something that's a whole number, you're like, oh. So Neptune and Saturn are the designer aspect, the architect aspect, their aspect of visioning something, Neptune, and building it, Saturn. So for the next 2 years, we still have Neptune and Saturn in Aries. Neptune's there for 14 years. Saturn only spends 2.5 years. So it's been there half a year almost, right? So you're going to need to figure out what you want to build, okay? And in the 10th house in America, only for the US, that chart is going to be, what's my world karma? So the US has world karma on this new moon. And can it build something that isn't deceptive? Right now, most of what's coming out of the US is bullshit.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. However, it's still a great place to be. It really is, if you're not, you know, in the middle of the thick of nonsense.
Yeah. All right. I actually wanted to okay, let's talk about these.
Okay. So this is really just the moon and the azimuth for Washington, and then that's the US collective for Canada. And you can see they're very close because Ottawa and Washington are pretty close. They're almost the same, but when we get to the collective planets, they shift a little bit. So Uranus shifts 5 degrees, Neptune 2 degrees, and Pluto doesn't shift. But when we get to Mexico City, then there's a bigger difference. So this is North America. So wherever you're living, take a picture of this. We will make this PDF available, probably a Google link to it. But take a picture of this now, of the screen. And then later, we will give you the gems. So hopefully you've got that if you want to do this. And then this is London, Paris, and Madrid. So the capital of the UK is London, the capital of France. It's actually not Paris, but it's so close to Paris. And then Madrid is the capital of Spain. So for those of you in Mallorca or in Spain, for those of you in France, and for those of you in London or anywhere in Europe, this is pretty close. Okay. So, and you can also send me a DM if you need it for your location, if your country's not here.
So for the
Joanna.
US, for the US, we use Washington, DC for the collective, for the entire country. So that would be, even if you're on the West Coast, you would look at this. Yeah, East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah, anywhere.
And then
it's your collective. And I know it works because I saw it happen. I saw myself when I moved to America. I saw this thread come out of my 10th gate, right here, and a new one come in. And I was like, joining a new collective. And I just started crying. I was 14 years old when this happened to me. And I was like, okay. And everybody on the plane was worried about me. I was on an airplane leaving Canada to live in America. And I was like, I'm fine. I'm just like, I couldn't explain it. My mother had taught me, don't tell people what you see. So had everybody. So I know it's real. Okay. And that's one of the things I want to tell you. Observe, correlate, experience. So I observed it. You see that on the bottom? Observe, correlate, and experience. All right. That is, observe and correlate is EA, but I'm adding experience it. Sit with it. Just let yourself keep experiencing it. All right. So for the moon, you know, I suggest moonstone. Now you can use rainbow moonstone, you can use peach moonstone, but moonstone. And for the sun, I like sunstone. It's pretty easy. Some people like citrine. It's great. Some people like yellow quartz. It's great. Mercury, I'm suggesting green fluorite for this one. And Venus, I'm suggesting peridot, and Mars, red chalcedony, and Jupiter, bumblebee jasper. So this is for anywhere you are in the world. These are the moonstone, sunstone, the gems. You can go into my book and find other ones. And then the angles of the chart, North Node is in Pisces. So for Pisces, I like Larimar. For the planet Neptune, I'm telling you to use blue kyanite. For the South Node, Danburite, because it clears up negativity. So sometimes the South Node is a place where we get trapped in comfort because we're so good at something and we just get lazy. Danburite breaks all that up. The Ascendant, red jasper. It's the sunrise. And I love jasper. Jasper talks to me. Okay. So that's a thing. Right. And so does amethyst. Those two actually boss me around, which I like. Thank you. Midheaven, pyrite. Also the same thing. Clearing your ego from the situation. Uranus, turquoise. If you can get real turquoise, great. If you have some, great. If you can't, there's magnesite, all kinds of things that are like turquoise. You can look into that. It's all over the internet now that there's so much fake turquoise out there. Do not use the howlite dyed turquoise because howlite's for your bones. It's a Saturn planet. Neptune, blue kyanite, very high frequency. And of course, amethyst for Pluto. Amethyst is one of the most powerful things. So is turquoise. I also want to tell you something else that isn't here. I found a lot of black obsidian. And then I looked up, what is black obsidian? Well, black obsidian is a huge spiritual protector. Okay. And if you add smoky quartz, any kind of quartz, but especially smoky quartz to your obsidian, black obsidian, you will have spiritual protection. And I started seeing weird things while I was having all these downloads. I was also seeing bad things. Okay. One of them tried to come into my 10th gate. I just said, in your dreams, baby. And I started doing the breath of fire and I set a call. Okay. So there's a lot of energy coming towards light workers that you have to fight it off. And I'm doing it. So black obsidian independently and yes, and with smoky quartz. That's what I learned. I have a site that I should put up here. What is it called? It's called Shri Freedom Vidya. Maybe Shabbat Preet, you can look for it. It is the Vedic use of these gems. And I used it to help me write my book and to learn. And I would love all of you to have access to it. It's still there. Shri SHRI or SYRI Freedom Vidya.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah, we'll let Shabbat Preet.
Okay. All right, here's some more Saturn.
Orange garnet. Orange garnet gets us on our duty. Like it gets us, it helps us go forward with our karma. Often used for the North Node. But I think in this case, we should use it with Saturn because the Neptune Saturn is giving us such opportunity to build. And we want to do it from our soul. Chiron, always the same. Pink Himalayan salt crystals. Lilith. If you've ever seen ruby zoisite, it really brings you harmony. If you've ever used it or given it to someone, they go from chaos to harmony quickly. Aquamarine is one of my favorite gems, and it's a wisdom gem. Or a chalcedony for Juno, and quartz crystals to ground you with Vesta with your sacred work. So your sacred work is Vesta. Juno is your self-empowerment in relationships. Pallas is Pallas Athena, goddess of wisdom. You're more of an expert on Lilith, although I love Lilith. Lilith is
on which one?
Lilith.
We were talking about
Lilith.
Oh, Black Moon Lilith is sort of the
bad girl.
No, it's the unhinged feminine.
Yes,
unhinged. It's the unhinged feminine.
I knew she had better words. I knew it. That's really good.
Juno is particularly important because Juno is with Pluto right now. And so we're seeing, again, as Tashi mentioned, the Pluto as a representation of power. And I think that, the soul work where we come into our own power, our empowerment of who we are in this life and like why we're here and what the soul's journey is. Juno is about partnership and how we show up to help and assist one another. And are we a strong partner? Are we getting manipulated by someone? Are we honored in that partnership? Are we showing up as the partner that we want to be and want to engage and get that sort of like back and forth? There's major power in Juno in that presence of all of these asteroids, Vesta, Juno, Pallas, and Lilith really show up as the divine feminine, right? So Juno particularly important because she's with Pluto right now.
I'm just answering some people about
Okay.
how to find my books.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. And also all these oligarchs who are getting into bed with each other, that's Juno Pluto.
Yeah.
And so now that Jupiter is entering this, we really need to pray to Ganesh that Ganesh brings a blessing to the rest of us, that the Jupiter Pluto opposition isn't used for them to get stronger. I mean, there's so much bullshit going on, but really strengthen your own Jupiter Pluto. So that is, what is natural law? How does my soul need it? What am I supposed to do? You look at your ninth house, you look at your Pluto, you read Jeffrey's books on natural law. The way Joanna learned so much is I'd say, here's a book, and she'd devour it with her Virgo. That's how I learned. When I went to join Mary in March's masterclass, she showed me her library, and I'd read 3/4 at least of the books, maybe all of them. And she's like, you have? And I'm like, yeah, I have Mercury and Gemini, so.
And I think also there's lots of ways to work with these archetypes. Also, some of you might be interested in tarot. That's one way in as well. So it's not,
tarot.
It's not exclusive just through one channel of high frequency. We've got the gene keys now and the Enneagram. Like there's a lot that's showing us and how to work with this, but certainly with the gems and the crystals we're bringing into form, that's the experience, right? So I also wanted to say, working with this cradle with the new moon, if you have planets at 4 degrees anywhere in the chart, find that planet, work with that planet, bring them to life for in whatever way that you can, whether it is through gems because you have them available, to wear them. Somebody asked, is it better to wear them or to put them somewhere? Wear them if you can, take it with you wherever it is. So for example, if you have Venus at 4 degrees of Leo, you're going to want to work with that Venus because Jupiter is activating it and it's part of this collective cradle. If you have a planet at 4 degrees of Gemini, work with that natal planet. If you don't have any planets at 4 degrees, you are okay. This is not a test. This is not, some people are going to get it. Some people are going to get the lesson and some people won't. This is, again, for the collective. But again, if you do have something, then you have the opportunity to take it to the next level and to really go deeper. And that's just an opportunity that we all have and we can share with each other.
And Jupiter brings opportunity. So Jupiter Pluto can deepen your relationship with what your soul came here to do. And you can work with hypnosis to get that. You can work with recapitulation every day, which is, of course, something Jack Schwartz taught me.
Somatic practice. We've been talking a lot about move the body. Yeah, do breath work, dance, do some cranial sacral, some body work, get a massage. Again, get in the water, just do some kind of ritual that works for you or feels right for you, simply to honor this energy. And just so encouraging of everyone to pay attention and just to tune in, even if it's for a few minutes.
We're going to start Q&A.
Yeah.
And a few minutes early.
This was the last thing I wanted to say. The fall equinox coming up and the winter solstice. And I just wanted to kind of point out, Tashi had mentioned that Neptune, Saturn. So you could see like they're still active because of these retrogrades. They're 10 degrees away now. In the fall, they'll be 9, but in the winter solstice, only 7 degrees. So this Neptune, Saturn creating in Aries is really working with us through the rest of the year. And so I just wanted to say that like a lot of what we're talking about, again, this is long-term energy. This is not a one and done. We're just at the beginning of this.
And also, I want you to see that Pluto is sextile exactly to Neptune, but Uranus is moved at 3. Yeah. And then Uranus is at 5. And the only other thing that's close to this, like the sun it's going to be trining Uranus for sure. And trining, so there's a grand trine here. You see that grand trine?
Yep.
There's a grand trine here. So this means your purpose in Libra will be very much relational. And I'm starting to teach again on this fall equinox because of this grand trine with Uranus.
This one.
I waited for this because I didn't want to teach. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was going through I mean, I don't even know what to say to any of you because I was downloading and learning so much. And then in the winter, Pluto is out of the game. Pluto's too far away from everything, which makes me believe from my political astrology learning that my teachers kind of forced on me because I was so unpolitical, but now I'm much more aware of it all, that the autocracy may not be part of the collective experience for us, all of us, all over the earth. Something could change that. The Sun Uranus could create such a difference that I don't know how it's going to work, but it's very optimistic for me. Okay. It's proof that that election and other countries as well will have a shift where the autocracy, the South Node's conjunct Jupiter in the winter solstice. So let's just,
that's this one.
Yeah, I think there's a really big political change coming. I think somebody magnificent could show up with a 26 Leo. Okay. And it could be a wonderful surprise because the moon Uranus is there. I'm not sure if it's a woman. Might be. Could be Kamala coming back. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think she'd do it. But it doesn't have to be a woman. That's the Pleiades. You want to check out a mystery school. The Pleiades are so mysterious. It's insane. Okay. The gold that they hide, like my teacher, Colin Rinpoche, gave a talk. And I now live fairly close to my friend who was an interpreter. So I haven't seen him yet, but I'm going to, and I'm going to try to find the talk where he talked about the Pleiades and explained the mystery of the Pleiades, because I've never heard it except from him. He was an old Tibetan enlightened guy called Rinpoche. So.
Okay. All right. So here's our contact information. I also wanted to say Tashi has an amazing app. You can find it, Vastu Shakti Feng Shui.
Oh, no. You know what?
We're not working with this one?
Oh, not that one, but that's okay. It's called Gemstone Astrology, but it's not up yet. It's up. The old one's up. We're going back to the original one. Yeah, I didn't like this name. It didn't track. We got 0 people.
All right. Well, it's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Well, and we're still rebuilding it and making it fabulous so that it works better.
All right.
It's got all kinds of new things coming.
All right. So
we are ready for questions.
More questions. If anybody has them. I think we've been answering. We've been pretty good.
We've been going through here. Yeah. Let's see. If we didn't answer your question, put it back in now. And if you have a question about your own chart, feel free.
Well, people have been putting in, they've got 4 degree. A lot of people have some 4 degrees.
We'll start with you. 4, because this is the first one I'm seeing. 4. Oh, then Belinda's next. She's got one above you, but I'll start here.
The 4 degrees planets, what does that mean?
So 4 is a power number for reality, as far as I know. And the 4th body, what is the 4th body?
The meditative mind.
The meditative mind. So, and the 4th chakra is 1, 2, 3, 4.
The heart.
So work on those. 4, I don't, other than like analogy, there are a lot of people. Math is now, even Spielberg said it, math is the language of the universe. Math is the basic structure of astrology. So you're learning the language of the universe when you're learning astrology or math, apparently. 4 relates to Guru Ram Dass, Partage.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Guru Ram Dass is fabulous. I once saw Guru Ram Dass in Teja's class. Teja opened up my third eye so much.
Yeah.
I consider her my teacher in Kundalini. And yeah.
So I think too, if you have planets at these degrees, like at 4 Gemini or whatever, go back to, what Tashi had said. We know that Uranus is there. So pull that, energy out. Uranus is sitting on your natal Jupiter, for example. So you're going to work with those 2 energies.
Right. If you have things at 4, I have things at 4. So my Saturn's at 4. So I'm being very disciplined about my writing now. Now that I can do that. Okay. And finishing books that I've been needing to do, getting ready for my September workshops and classes, which I will, of course, invite you all to and tell you where they're going to be when I'm ready. And just be, if it's Uranus, she's right. If it's Pluto, if you have something Pluto 4 or your Jupiter's at 4, your Venus at 4, take those principles and make them work at the highest possible level for yourself. And look into the shadow and make sure that you don't, if it's Venus, are you self-indulgent? Are you spending too much? If it's Jupiter, are you spending too much? If it's Jupiter, Pluto, are you letting yourself die in rebirth? Okay. Are you letting a pattern that really has to go, mostly a way of thinking, Jupiter, a limiting way of thinking, a limiting way of loving. I think one of the things that I learned as an empath is I stay a little bit in love with everybody. I just try when I go out publicly to let my charisma be love and not light so much. Okay. So that people feel better. And I know you all know that, but I'm reminding you.
Smart.
Yeah.
You said to watch the ninth house in Pluto for direction. So if you have planets in the ninth.
If you have planets in the ninth, you're here to study natural law and experience, correlate, observe, and experience natural law. Mm-hmm. Go out and talk to your flowers. I had a corn start to talk to me, remember, in my garden once. And I was like, whoa. The tomato, when it first showed me its diva, I was so embarrassed. I was scared. I ran into my house. It was huge. It looked like the Kool-Aid kid. Yeah. This big red Kool-Aid thing. Yeah. Pay attention to natural law.
And the easiest way, watch the moon.
Watch the moon and also read this book, mm-hmm. Behaving as if God Mattered. Mm-hmm. That book, every time I read it, I see fairies. Every time I read it, it's like an initiation, that book. She is such a powerful soul that's a book. It's an initiation into the Deva realm. And there's another new book called Deva. Mm-hmm. Those books are initiations into the Deva realm. And for me, I'm a Deva. So that's how I like to learn. That's what I'm here to learn.
And if you have like 4 degrees, for example, on any of the axis points, right? Ascendant, descendant, midheaven, or IC, how do you approach? I mean, the axis points, to me, it's all about your place on earth. The axis points tie us in time and space to this specific location.
Suck up the plasma. Take in the plasma.
Yeah.
Pull in the plasma. Go out and look at the plasma. Find the plasma. Mm-hmm. When you're meditating, look at the plasma. Mm-hmm. Behaving as if God Mattered and Deva. Okay, Behaving as if God Mattered was written by a woman named Michael Small Wright. And Deva is written by a New Zealand woman. Ooh, I gotta find that book. I don't know her name. She's a New Zealand woman. It's just called Deva. It's easy to find.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very good.
All right.
It's a powerful book. Both of these books are powerful. You have to put them down, okay? And take some time to observe, correlate, and experience.
It takes time to read a lot of these books.
These books, I can't even read them all the way through. Mm-hmm. I have to put them down and go, okay, I'll be back, Okay, so let's see. I didn't answer specific questions. Let's go back to Belinda. What does she have? And we will both answer. Jupiter in the first house.
For Aquarius.
At 4 Aquarius. So Pluto's on your Jupiter. Expand your sovereignty in the first house. Mm-hmm. Jupiter Pluto is a very intense transit. It's like change your mind about something. Open your mind about something. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people die in our lives when there's Jupiter Pluto that affects us. Mm-hmm. They're not dying, they're not going anywhere, they're just changing.
They're just evolving.
Forms. They're evolving, they're ascending. So some of us are going to ascend in the physical, and some of us are going to leave and help from the other side, like Guru Jagat.
Yeah.
Bless her soul.
I also, some of them, there's a moon. Someone has a moon at 4 degrees.
So get ready to rock your emotional life.
Yeah.
And really look on your emotional self-reliance. Avoid codependency. But, my dogs and I are very codependent. I'm a little bit codependent with my husband and my daughter. Well, I'm pretty codependent with her. I think it's okay with your family, but not to the point where you lose yourself. Mm-hmm. And I don't. I have boundaries, and I'll say, okay, you want me to read your chart? It's midnight. No, that's my daughter.
Yeah. I think too, just a reminder, if you're working with astrology and you're talking about the transits are affecting the natal chart. The natal chart is where you want to go back to. So again, as Tashi said, like find that moon, work with your moon, feel your moon, meditate with your moon or your Jupiter or your Uranus or your Venus or your Mercury. And that's where you're going to learn the most about yourself and that aspect of your own consciousness and your own conscious urges.
What sign, Shabbat Preet? What sign? So my daughter has the descendant at 4,
Mm-hmm.
and so does my husband has the ascendant descendant at 4. Yours is Taurus. Okay, so this is a T-square. So this is a relationship power struggle. I'm going to call you and talk to you about it because you're my friend and you're doing this for us.
All right.
And
then
it's becoming so self-empowered that there's no outside struggle. That's what it really means.
Mhm.
Jupiter, Pluto becomes so wise and so centered in your relationship with the cosmos that there's no outer power struggle. But with Taurus, if you have something at 4 Taurus or 4 Scorpio, I have 4 Scorpio. I don't have any power struggles. I am self-empowered and I'm collaborative because that's Pluto in Aquarius.
Mhm.
Collaborative. See, we're very collaborative with everybody.
all right. Any other questions?
Jupiter at 4 Capricorn. Okay, that's a quincunx to this. Quincunx, humility, humiliation, adjusting your behavior,
Mhm.
figuring out where your intentions are. Are they aligned with how to shift yourself? Make sure you're willing to adapt. Adaptive consciousness is a quincunx. But if you don't do it, you get sick. So don't do that.
And what about a North Node?
North Node in what aspect?
Gemini.
Oh, in Gemini. Another, well, it's trining Pluto. Lucky you.
North Node is,
Kimberly.
yeah. I mean, Uranus is on the North
Uranus
Node.
is on the North Node.
That's an upgrade if I've ever heard
That's
one.
an upgrade. And also, if you don't pay attention to the upgrade, you will get pretty shaky, pretty chaotic, pretty nervous. So you don't have much choice here.
Mhm.
You know, I always say you don't have much choice. Happiness, joy, bliss, enlightenment, lunacy, ferocity, madness.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we really have much choice once you understand that? No, you choose joy and bliss.
Yeah.
And I also learned something this summer, this spring. The essence of joy is gratitude. So if you want joy in your life, practice gratitude.
Mm.
And I just wake up every day so grateful for all these new things in my life that I've found myself quite joyous. So I thought, okay. And then I heard somebody say it fleetingly. I can't give them credit because I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere on the internet. Okay, so the essence of joy is gratitude in
Beautiful.
my experience.
All right. Thank you all so much. Yeah, we talked about this one. Yeah. Amy. Yeah, I mean, if you've got planets in Aries, they're getting activated by that Saturn and Neptune.
Do
quite
your own
active.
thing. Do your own thing.
Yeah.
Do it with sovereignty. Do it with pioneering instincts. Figure out what is your own thing and just do it. It's Nike. Just do it. Nike's a goddess. She's in your chart somewhere.
All right. Thank you all so much. Happy new moon. Everybody take care. We're so happy to be here back talking with you all. And yeah, absolutely. We'd love to talk more if anybody is interested in
and we'll send
a reading.
the PDF link to Rama. Okay. And you'll be able to, I'm sure are you guys going to broadcast this? So we'll send the link for the PDF or just, Joanna?
You can email me here if you'd like a reading, want more information, have more questions.
Or you want the PDF.
We'll send this out.
She'll send it to you.
Okay.
She's much more reliable than I am. You're all welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sure we'll do this again.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.